Right. Welcome everyone to the Aliveness Revolution podcast with myself and Charlie Garnham. And we're so happy that we're doing this. This was just a humongous thing inside of us that was like a big yes, like it's gotta become alive. And that's basically the whole thing about it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about what is aliveness. Since that's the name of the podcast, we thought it would be useful to actually have the first conversation be about that. And just to invite you to the conversation in the sense of where that you get to look at our definition and the way that we've experienced in our life, because that's what we'll do. We'll talk about what it is for each of us. We'll talk about how we came into it, how we started to understand it more, how it became an embodiment, and it's an ongoing process, obviously. And then we want to just then open up the conversation a little bit more to hear about what resonates for you. And that's the big invitation, is looking at this with your own filter, in the sense of that if you see something within our stories that really mirrors your life, just potentially open yourself up to the opportunity that's an invitation. That's an invitation for you, that something is being said for you to listen to. And you may get pennies that drop now in the conversation, and you may get them later. So this is specifically a conversation to go, boom, let's just go deep and in, let's go to real and alive. We might sometimes bring up human design, might sometimes bring up astrology. We don't know. We're making it up as we go. So we're going to have a ton of fun. Yeah, and my name's Val D'Ambrosio. I'm a spiritual life coach, an intuitive astrologer, and an absolute lover of the body. So for over 3 decades, I've been working with people in basically returning back to themselves. I think the greatest thing is knowing thyself, and then ultimately we love ourselves, and then we're the energy that's living out in the world. And to experience that on a full body level so that you're living alive in your truth.
Amazing. So I'm Charlie Garnham, and I just really come from like a human design background for sure. So you will be, hearing me talk about that a little bit, but I really and truly believe that like aliveness is something that we all have a birthright for. We all can, be alive to do whatever we want to do, to have live the life that's worth living. And I truly believe that actually in the human design system, there is so much of this kind of like worldly conditioning that sort of dampens people. All the different types have like their different vices, right? And their different sort of like ways of being. And all of us, we do get dampened by the conditioning of the world, and human design and astrology. And I know there's so many more amazing tools out there really can blow the lid off that box and just help you to be yourself and to be truly alive again.
So let's go there, right? It's like so Charlie, what was it for you that you realized that you weren't living?
Well, actually, my story, Val, is very much around my health. Because I actually came to a place at one point when I was doing some consultancy work where I would be booking in a client at 10 o'clock in the morning, 12 p.m., and 2 p.m. In between all of those clients, and sounds like an amazing day, right? 3 clients, lots of space, great. But I came to a point where I realized that I was getting up late and not really doing much, dragging myself to my 10 o'clock. And in between my clients, I was getting back into bed. And after, maybe like 2 years of this was very much a realization that I had adrenal fatigue, chronic stress, and all of these like other health things that normal sort of like Western and modern medicine, they don't really diagnose this. They don't really sort of say, hey, like, there's an issue here. There's no diagnosis, there's no test for it. And even if I did go to the doctor, the test would say, oh, your bloods are in normal range, so you're fine. And it's like, well, I'm not fine, actually. And I think my health has definitely been the key to understanding what aliveness is. Because if you haven't been in that depth of being unhealthy, even though you haven't actually technically got a disease, according to, the doctors, you can't then see what you're missing or what the aliveness is, or, sort of like, yeah, you can't like get your head above the parapet.
It's like trying to tell a fish what water is. How do you do that
Yes.
when they've lived in it all day? Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Exactly. So what about you, Val? Like, what about your sort of like awakening? What made you remember that you were not alive and then you became alive?
Well, it's so interesting because just listening to your story, I mean, I know your story, but then I'm listening it to the now, like because every moment is a new moment, and um, you know, it's the idea, and we were talking about this prior, is the idea that the contrast is necessary. You know, it's like we don't know what not feeling, we don't know what aliveness is until we experience not experiencing it, and that's what I heard in your story, and that's what I realized was coming up for me, is that how I was living life very full, if you will, doing all of the things, moving my body a ton, doing the things, creating the things, running this business, connecting with community, filling, always friends around, always, 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 you know. And then I got to a tipping point at life after I created a yoga and music festival, and then I sold it. But it really was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, where I basically, my intimate relationship had completely been not watered, you know, and it was not nurtured. And so that went, you know, my health, because I just put my career first before everything, and my friendships, like everything was struggled, right? So that was the kind of first wake up, and that kind of ignited me to move to Steamboat and in the mountains. And then I kind of realized that I started to create my new life in the new environment the same way that I was. And I didn't know it until now. I didn't know it, but I was still taking the old me to the new environment. And what happened,
Interesting.
and yeah, exactly, right? And I just had this awareness talking, like when you were talking, and I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Because then what happened is that I got so sick. And this, isn't it interesting, you guys, that oftentimes it comes down to the body. The body's like, oh, you're not gonna listen? Okay, let me, ooh, you're not gonna, oh, you're still not gonna, okay, all right. And we're like, you know, and so I had, I had been chasing health issues my whole life, where same thing, go into doctors and they'd be like, I don't know, your labs are fine. And I'm like, I'm dying inside. I'm in chronic pain. I'm sleeping 4 hours. It's all I knew. All I knew. Sleeping 4 hours a night. My digestion was a mess. Everything was, I was chronically sick. And it ended up that at 40, I got extraordinarily sick, and I couldn't work for 2 years. They found out I had Lyme disease, chronic Lyme. And all of a sudden, for the next 10 years, what I did was I played my life very, very safe. So I went from the contrast of being so full and so outward and all this stuff to into this place of like stillness. And I was like, but it became so fear driven. Like I didn't want to get sick. I didn't want to, you know, so I lived, and it was a very simple life, if you will, but it was slower. And I just realized one day, I was like, and I remember, I've told this story before, I was sitting on the beach and I had my arms out and I was like, okay, my word for the month is nourishment. And that's when I just became aware, and I felt the sun, I felt everything, and it just got cut at my elbows. And I just was like, I don't even know. And I just started to get curious about things like joy and nourishment and play. And I realized, like, oh my God, I was like, what are they to me? What are they? So that's when it started to become alive. And it's been an alivening, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I also just want to say as well, like one of the main reasons why we are doing this and we're doing it live is because Val and I, we've been talking for, you know, quite a few months now, and these are our conversations. We get on Zoom and we have these conversations, we're back and forth, and we're, you know, being a mirror for each other. And we wanted to open this up so that you get to experience this as well. So we're going to be like as authentic as we possibly can, as authentic in the moment of, you know, what we're going through right now. And we're going to see a lot of like really cool stuff, I think, coming out, and questions as well, and trigger points for each other. I know sometimes we like to stop and say, hang on a sec, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. In the moment, keeping it real. And, you know, and that's part of this revolutionary, the aliveness revolution, is that, you know, there comes a time where we realize the structures and the systems and the identities that we've been living to, and even, you know, belief systems, all those things that we've been bound to in many ways, that they no longer work anymore. And so that revolutionary is aspect of the energy is the outlier. It's the one that is like the weird one, the one that's doing things differently. And the thing about that becoming alive, it's a messy process. It's not there's no rule book anymore. There's nothing to follow, and there aren't many role models. Ask most people, how you doing? I mean, I live in Playa del Carmen. It's a little different. When I go to the States, or I talk to people from the States, and I don't want to just peg it on the States, but I'm just saying it's significantly different, where a lot of people's answers are, I'm hanging in there. And I'm not judging it, but to me, I'm like, that's not living. Like, come on, like, let's live, you guys, let's live. But I know it was my contrast of where I was that helps me have a greater appreciation for living. And so let's talk about the things like, what do you think it is that creates the lack of aliveness to begin and to increase?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like something that I know that is very new for me, for sure, is the connection with the body, like kind of really understanding like like how the body plays a role within your, kind of like your life essentially. And just like a, random quick story that I've just, thought about as we're talking here. I remember because I actually happen to be child free by choice, so I've like chosen not to have children. I have never really treated like that womanly part of my body particularly well. Like I've never sort of like, yeah, like loved it in any way, right? And I just remember going into like a breathwork session where the practitioner was really bringing in like womb healing. And I sat there through the whole 90-minute session crying my eyes out because I had never connected with my womb in any way, shape, or form. And I did just then. And I was like 38 probably at the time. And that actually was a little bit of my beginning of like, awakening up to, the connection to my body, because in the past it's always like, well, I don't want children, so I don't need to know about that part of me. It can go in the bin as far as I'm concerned. That's not the only thing that the womb does, in our lives as women. So
Yeah, but it makes sense. If we weren't shown that, if we weren't, if nobody was pointing and role modeling and saying, hey, you know what? There's no separation between the mind and the body, and that part of you is alive, and we want to nurture it, we want to talk to it, we want to listen to it, we want to have a relationship with it. And so that moment, what a beautiful moment and I have my similar, experience, but it's so fun hearing about your own individual experience of it. And just think about like in that moment for you, when you noticed there was a lack of aliveness, what started to open in that area for you?
wow, I mean, it took a while, but just things started to sort of like almost like waken a little bit. I noticed that, things were slightly changing in my cycle and my, desires and things like that. And it really sort of started to help me. I think that part of me started to help me to connect further to my body, even just like, my shoulders or my hair or my throat or something like that. There was just more of a realization that I had a bit of pain or a bit of discomfort or a bit of something, because in our society, there's just so much where, and I know that this is really big on your story as well, Val, like we have pain, but we don't notice it anymore because we're so numb to it, and we just sort of like brush it off and just go, yeah, oh well, I'll just carry on without even like realizing it. And that's a really big problem sometimes, because the body tells you what it needs and it tells you the truth. Yeah, so what do you want to like tell a little bit of your story around that side of things?
Well, a billion things just came to mind when you were talking. I
Yeah,
wish I was taking
always.
notes. I'm like, oh my God, there's so. You said it took a while, and what I want to just like bring to mind is that if time space continuum, all time's happening at the same time, time is really an illusion, right? Can we really allow ourselves? Hopefully, I have service. All of a sudden, I got the internet thing, but this is the opportunity to really allow ourselves to practice like releasing that there's some kind of timeline with it, because that for me, it's like I didn't realize that part of me was running, a lot of the time. It's like, hold on a second, like this is because it's like your process is your process. Like the becoming alive, I'm just reminding everyone, like becoming alive right? Like it's our time, it's in our journey, it's in our way of doing it. And I think that's an important thing to just acknowledge and to give ourselves that permission to do it in our time. And I know for me, as I'm becoming alive more and more and uncovering and discovering all these parts of me that I've been totally dissociated with, like totally, yes, my body, eating disorder, blah, 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 drinking, la, 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 food, la, 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 all that stuff, you know what I mean? Trauma from my childhood, la, 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 yes, 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 yes. Well, I don't believe there's a separation between the mind and the body. That means that that trauma is ensconced in my body, it's in my cells, it's in the memory. And so I
Mm.
have parts of me internally in my body that have literally not been, they haven't been alive. You know, I was very used to doing certain things. I was a mountain biker. I had a very certain way of living. I was living life from a very like more protective state, like, or I have to hurry, shoulders up to the ears. This is very, very, very different than somebody that's open, right? And so
Yeah.
the way that I think about it, it's like, I'm like, okay, like, yes, it's in my body. And it's like discovering it. And the other thing that really also helps me a lot with astrology and human design or having tools like that is that if I have these parts of me, maybe I've been so conditioned in my life to, you know, if I have a story, right? If I have a story playing that like I was seen through certain eyes, as, you know, I was constantly approved for, you know, being a good girl, getting the straight A's, all this stuff, right? And then going through life, proving myself, making myself, all this stuff, forcing, pushing, all this stuff. If somebody walked life like that for a long time, they might have a part of them that is so beautifully soft and so slow and so just like, you know, but it's been dormant, it's been asleep. And so those kind of things too, it's like awakening those dormant parts of myself. Like I've loved awakening my little girl, like to play and just be like, like I love it, and oh my God, look at that tree, you know, and let myself like dance and whatever. And I just didn't let her out for so long. I was playing life really serious, really hard, really anxious. And when we talk about that energy, hard, anxious, I think very energetically, right? So hard, anxious, worried, pushing, forcing, those are very heavy energies. And so if we're a vibration out there in the world, right, and we live in an attraction-based universe, and we're living mostly in these more deadened, lower frequencies, we're like a flat magnet. Nothing's happening. So when we start to awaken, it's like all of a sudden we start to become. We were talking about this before, Charlie, right? Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
start to
absolutely.
become a
Yeah.
magnet to attract more of those things, and it's just in your experience of feeling alive, feeling more awakened, feeling more, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, like in my business, when I'm helping, you know, beautiful business owners to be more magnetic and to, you know, market themselves and to really speak to the soul of their dream clients, actually, you know, like there's a lot of business mentors who will use, you know, templates and logic and, you know, bro marketing and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a business mentor that kind of really goes into frequency and truth and, you know, real, yeah, like real aura, like realness just coming out into the world. Because guess what? People are going to really, really love you for who you are. And the more weird you are, the more wonderful you are, and the more people will move towards you. And then all of a sudden, this kind of like receptive sort of like feeling frequency comes out from you, and then you've got like abundance coming in and money coming in and clients coming in and relationships coming in, and everything just suddenly starts to grow and, you know, just be around you because you're the magnet, you're the one that is gonna, you know, attract everything. And you know, I know that you're like a massive role model for me, Val. Like, you know, like how strong, how like the strength that I have grown even in the time that I've met you, because the magnet has just gone,
It's
just,
amazing.
ooh, it's been amazing, hasn't it?
Amazing. Amazing for both of us. And I love it. And that's the other thing too, that like when you were talking, you know, again, it's not a one and done. This is a discovery phase. Obviously, it's just awakening back to life. And I think about how, for me at least, and I'm sure many of you can relate, like, I mean, I not belonging was more familiar to me than belonging. You know,
Yeah.
it just, I didn't fit in. You know, I didn't belong. I didn't belong to my family. I just was weird. You know, I was stupid. I was all those things. Like, that's how it was, just a disconnect. And so I then would magnetize myself, if you will, to environments that kind of didn't really see me for me and value me. So I just was more of the conditioned self that I was. And what's so beautiful is that now where I am, because I've spent that time with me to really connect with, okay, if that was the first act of my life,
Yeah.
and I really see the beliefs. I want to really take my time. I want to get really deliberate and caring toward myself. And I want to go, okay, if that was the first act, what beliefs, what patterns, what ways of being, all those things, let me look at them. Let me see them in my body. Let me see how I feel. And now if I go, okay, now I have the second act. What do I want to create? Okay, who do I need to be? And being someone that can walk through life and experience the feelings of joy more, of gratitude more, of all these things, for me, it was the opposite of where I was. And so the becoming, it's like we got to get familiar. And so coming into environments like this, speaking to people like this, like we have all the things we can listen to, but there's a call to connect now, you know what I mean? And to really be a part and live with things and really in that. And when we surround ourselves, I mean, Charlie and I, that's what we're talking about. Because we're both affirming each other, there's an alignment. We see each other. I don't ever feel weird with her. I don't apologize for who I am. I just am. And she just adores me for me. And I just receive. And when you're in that pot of yummy goodness, more will just continue to come. It's just the way that the universe works.
Yeah. And like knowing that you're a manifesting generator in human design, I do not put a lid on you in any way, shape, or form, because that's the worst thing you can do. But guess what? Our society, it has all these lids that are coming down on you all the time. So if you're a manager or if you're any type and you resonate with this anyway, just stop having lids put on you. Labels as well. Yeah.
There it is. Boom. Drop the mic at least once in every conversation that happens. Don't put a lid, take the lid off. Let's take the lid off. And let's then look at each other and celebrate one another. Like the experience of having someone go, don't put a lid on her after you've heard like, stop it, too much, for your whole life. Like somebody really saying that once. And if you love I don't want to say for you. I don't want to project on you guys. What I want to say for me. The self-love muscle that I've been building and been intentionally building for decades, you know what I mean? Yeah. I know that the reason why I can actually sit here and receive what she says is because I see that in myself, and I've allowed myself to finally see it in myself instead of pretending or listening to somebody's point of view,
Yeah, and guess what? You get to see it from the projector point of view as well, because I'm looking at you. You're then like understanding and embodying, so it just works really well. What I want to ask you, Val, is do you have any like practical sort of things that you do on a daily basis that help you just to feel alive, to feel the gratitude, to feel the abundance?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, that's such a great question because I had a billion things that I want to say. So let me just say this one thing. There's a lot I do. Okay. There's a lot I do, from mirror talk to touching my body to taking time with when I'm putting, lotion on my body. I really, really let myself like experience it. Like I'm being like totally taken care of by the person that, loves me the most in the world. That's me, right? So this I would say is like one of my favorite things. When I leave my house in the morning, I decide who I want to be when I leave. And when I do that, I'm present. I ride a bicycle. I don't own a car here. And it's actually a really beautiful gift because I basically bike or walk, but mostly bike. And as I'm biking, I embody that person. I'm listening to music. Music's my medicine. And I'm smiling. Usually I have in one ear, though. And I'm taking in the environment. And I'm smiling. And I let myself do whatever. And I just decide who I want to be. And I feel the feelings as I'm going. Yeah. And I just stay in the state of gratitude. That's it. Do I always get to this? No. But at least I know if I have that, it's going to bring me closer to where I want to go than if I totally don't do it and I dismiss myself and I'm most likely going to walk out and get swallowed by everybody else's emotions. That's just me. Yeah. So that's what I do. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, actually slowing down is like a major thing. And I think as a projector, I have been conditioned to be a manifesting generator absolutely all my life. It's like the go, the getting sucked into things, Charlie, can you fix this? Charlie, can you do this? And, just wanting to like make things happen, force things to happen. And for me, the slowing down absolutely is the key to aliveness. You know, like I am not born to just jump out of the bed in the morning and just go, "Hi world, ta-da." I have to warm my throat chakra up. Right. I have a thing. I do not talk in the morning, which is why my voice boxer like coaching thing with my clients starts at 10 o'clock in the morning because I am not talking before then. And but you know, it's more than that. It's like the slowness of the body. It's the it's the awakening that happens in the morning, really. And that's what I really love about my morning routine.
You teach me all the
Movement.
time. You teach me all the
Yeah,
time. You know, really, like when I talk to you
yeah.
and you tell me like, oh, I'm letting my body rest. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is a great reminder.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Jar. Thank you so much for reminding me. You're such an incredible
Yeah,
role model in that realm. I know we're different.
yeah,
I know
and
we're different authorities, and I know we're different profiles. But at the same time, it's. I think it's a useful thing in this world, in this day and age, for many
yeah.
people to allow themselves. You know.
Yeah, I mean, so many people don't rest, right? And they don't rest properly or they don't rest deep enough. And, you know, projectors, they do say projectors are here to teach everybody how to rest. And I remember a moment I could feel the energy from you, Val. I said to you in like a class that I was doing, manifesting generators are amazing when they have a fast and then they have a slow. It's almost like a different dial on you. But the thing is that most manifesting generators, they have fast, they have fast, they have fast, and that's it. And actually, the dissonance, or not dissonance, but the difference in between fast and slow is actually where Manny Gen can really thrive. And I remember feeling that from you when I said it. You were like, "Whoa,
That landed so deeply, it changed my life. You know, and sometimes somebody says something and I was like, that was it. Like that just changed it because all of a sudden I got permission to go
yeah,
in the middle of my day. It looks like it's, if anybody else were looking at my life, they go, it's chaos. And I'm like, you know, but then stopping in the middle of the chaos, go put my compression boots on or just lie there, just music or roll around on my thing. Like just take a moment, or I like letting myself go do different things just because I need a break and a rest from something. Very different way of being.
yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. That's why using tools like the astrology and human design, at least for me, it helps me. It helps me to uncover and unlock these parts of me and then get curious and decide. You know, we get to decide, we get to interpret. It's not all of a sudden like somebody puts this label on us and goes, you are that now forever. No, again, don't put a lid on it. Hashtag,
yeah."
don't put a lid on it. I said
I
it
love it.
backwards, but you know what I mean. Um, we should probably wrap up. I know we didn't open it up today because
Mhm.
that who's on isn't able to get onto the camera. So um, let's just talk about. So we're going to keep going with this. We're going to do this weekly. We're going to make things up as we go along. We're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Did I forget anything though, Char?
No, absolutely not. But we're going to third line it. Remember, we're going to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Make it up as we go along.
Oh
And
yeah,
opening up at the end each time to just really hear your words when people are on live. And yeah, just stay tuned with how you can stay with us and work with us. If you want to find out how to work with us directly, you can just look into the info below and you'll see our stuff there. And stay
yeah,
open because we are launching something called the next chapter actually shortly. And on the 22nd is when it opens up. And this is a perfect 3-day course for you to really, really you guys, astrologically, we are in a potent time. That's all I want to say in the sense of like, if you are going to decide, you know, and want to buy Nikki, if you want to just design something and just go, you know what, this is what I really want. This is what I really desire. Like
mhm.
this is the time to do it, and that class will support that happening.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're feeding on that edge of, okay, I've built my amazing life. That's great, but what's next? Like, where's the next step? Where's the next chapter? I want more. I feel more. I deeply just desire like so much more connection or whatever it is that you want. The next chapter is for you. And we have designed it strategically with astrology as well. So it's going to be brilliant. And all the details for that will be in the show notes below as well.
Yeah, and just one more thing about that too that I just want to say is that when you come in, again, there's no rule book, there's no right way. This is a space, a container that is going to offer you suggestions and prompts to sift through a few things in your own personal self, so you can then take any information or wisdom that comes through for you and see and get more clear about how to uncover it and create it in your life. Giving your space, when we give ourselves that space and time, and we really, that's called building an honor code. That's called building our self-worth. That's called building a person that can walk the earth confidently and go, yes, absolutely, I know life has me. And so taking this time, it's so beautiful. What a gesture. What a generous gesture to make to ourselves. So that's what this space is. It's for you. It's for you to get more deeply connected to you, that you feel like you can take a stand and have your own back and go, you know what? No matter what. Oh no.
You did drop out again, honey. It's okay though.
Okay. All right.
All good.
Yay.
Amazing. Thank you so much for everybody that's joined us in our very first episode.
Woo! Episode 1, numero uno. A pleasure.
Episode 1. All done,
pleasure and
all
joy.
Dusted.
1 year from now, we're going to go, remember when we did that? Look back at what we did then at the beginning. We were just making it up. We were so funny.
I know.
Anyway.
And we're going to be amazing in a year.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you next week on the Aliveness Revolution podcast.
All righty. Bye.